Hello everyone. So now let us start with our next chapter, that is chapter 2, Microorganisms, Friend and Foe. So in microorganisms andre enu? Micro means small, organisms means living things. So in this chapter we'll be studying about the small living things or the small living creatures that cannot be seen through our unaided eyes. Friend and foe. Friend means they are helpful for us, as your friends are very helpful for us, right? In the same way, microorganisms which are helpful for us, and foe means which are harmful for us or which are enemy. Okay, so in this chapter we'll be studying about the small living organisms which are helpful and which are harmful for us. So, the living organisms that are very small in size and cannot be seen with the unaided eyes are called as microorganisms or microbes. Unaided eyes, andre, we just can't see like that only. To see, we need something called magnifying glass or a microscope. Andre, microorganisms, so it will be present everywhere. Okay, so you can't see with your eyes just like that. So you need a microscope or a magnifying glass to see. The examples are the white or the gray patches observed in the bread when it is spoiled. It can be seen with magnifying glass. So this is a spoiled bread. Can you see these patches? The gray patches or the black patches and the white patches. So these are the microorganism. This is nothing but a fungus or a fungi. Okay. This can be seen in the bread. Okay, when the bread is spoiled, you see some growth on the bread. Breadally, you will see some white patches. So this is a microorganism which can be seen through magnifying glass. Another example is when you take a pond water and observe under the microscope. This is a microscope, and when you add a pond water in the slide. So this, with what you can see here, is a slide. You add the pond water in the slide and observe in the microscope. So this is a microscope. You see something like this. Okay, so these are the microorganism or some bacteria present in the water. So ಈಗ ನೀವು simply pond water ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ. You can just see the water and some dirt if it is there. But when you observe it under the microscope, you can see these things. So these are nothing but the microorganism or the small, tiny little creatures which cannot be seen through our unaided eyes. Okay. So next, let us study about the classification of microorganisms. So microorganisms are classified into 4 groups. They are bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae. So for each one, examples napka itkoli. So fungi ge it is bread mold. Bread ali you saw the spots, right? So that is nothing but the bread mold. Penicillium, aspergillus. Protozoa, amoeba and paramecium. For algae it is chlamydomonas and spirogyra. This algae you can see, right? ಈಗ ನೀವು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ವಾಟರ್ ಇರೋದ್ ಕಡೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ, like in some waterfalls or somewhere, if you go, you can see some dark green color on the floor. So that is nothing but your algae. Okay, the green color which is slippery or like that, that is nothing but your algae. One example napka itkoli. Okay, for fungi remember bread mold, and protozoa amoeba, algae chlamydomonas, spirogyra. Next one is the viruses. So viruses are also a kind of microorganism, but they're little different from the 4 classification which we saw. Idu yen different andre, these are also small. Okay, these also we see through microscope. Idu ange kaanisalla. So these also we see in the microscope. The difference is they reproduce only inside the host organism, that can be a bacteria, plant or animal. ಈಗ host organism andre enu? Host organism is another organism on which this microorganism, that is the virus, survives or it lives. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ about the coronavirus. So it is also a virus. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಯಾವುದು ನಾವು. ಸೊ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕೊರೋನಾ ವೈರಸ್. ಈಗ ಕೊರೋನಾ ದಿಸ್ ವೈರಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನಿಮ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ ನಾಬ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ ಡೋರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಲಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲಾಂಗರ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ it needs a host organism to live for a longer period of time to reproduce. So the host organism can be bacteria, plant or animal, okay, so that it can live inside it and reproduce or multiply it. So this is a picture of virus, okay. Now let us see, we saw the bacteria, protozoa and viruses. So what are the some diseases which are caused by these organisms? So bacteria causes typhoid and tuberculosis. Protozoa causes dysentery and malaria. Viruses can cause cold, influenza, cough, polio and chickenpox. Just try to remember this as of now. In our next class, we'll study about how or what are we'll study about the diseases in our later classes, okay. So this was about the diseases. So now we saw what is a microorganism, the examples and the classification. So where do these microorganisms live? Before that, I would like to tell that microorganism, they can be single cell andre they can have only one cell, or they can be multicellular andre ಜಾಸ್ತಿ cells ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Like we human beings are multicellular, ನಮ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ cells ಇದೆ. So in the same way, microorganisms can either be single cell or multicellular. Next, where do they live? Andre where do these microorganisms live? So these microorganisms can live in all types of environment. Andre they can live anywhere. They can live in the hot conditions, in deserts where there is too much of heat, in hot springs where jasti heat irot kade, illandre where there is in geysers also it can live. And it can also live in places where it is too cold, like in snow beelat kade they can live. They can even live in your fridge, in your freezer. So it can live in such cold condition also. So it means they can live in any kind of situation. And these microorganisms, they also live inside our body, okay, inside a human body. So human body ಒಳಗಿರೋದ್ microorganisms are helpful for us, okay. If they are not present, they are very helpful for us. If they are not present, it can cause any harm to us. So they are very helpful for us and they can live in any kind of environment. So this was about the small introduction about the microorganisms. Now let us see the friendly microorganisms. Friendly andre which are helpful for us, which we require them, like namig beku ee microorganisms. So which are these? So the microorganisms which are helpful for us in various ways, like making bread, cake, curd, they are useful in cleaning up environment and increasing soil fertility. Andre if these microorganisms are not present, then ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರೆಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ ಬೇಕರಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಕ್ಲೀನಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್, ದೆನ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ದೆಮ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ಹೌ ದೀಸ್ microorganisms help in making curd and bread. Okay. Iga, you would have seen your mother adding little curd to milk. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ to make curd, your mother will add a little curd to the milk, ಅಲ್ವಾ? So ಈ curd ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is a bacterium called as lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is a bacteria, okay? Remember the name lactobacillus. So this lactobacillus helps in the formation of curd and it is present in the curd. Iga, when you add curd to the milk, what happens? The lactobacillus present in the curd grows rapidly, or it reproduces rapidly. It multiplies its number and it helps in the formation of curd. So milk iradu, it gets converted to curd with the help of this bacterium called as lactobacillus. So in this way the curd is made. So in lactobacillus illa andre you cannot make curd, right? So there'll be no conversion of milk into curd. So lactobacillus helps in the formation of curd. So next one is, this is about how the bacteria or how the microorganism is used in the bakery industries. So it is a small activity. ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, take half kg of flour, that is atta or maida, add some sugar and mix with warm water. Add a small amount of yeast powder. Here yeast is also microorganism. Okay, it is also microorganism, and make a soft dough. What do you observe after 2 hours? Did you find the dough rising? So you'll take maida, you will add water and sugar, and you will add the yeast powder. Yeast is nothing but your microorganism. When you keep it for some time, yen ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು, you can see something like this. What is the difference? Andre, you can see the dough has risen up. Andre, the dough has increased its volume. Why is this happening? Because there is a yeast, that is a microorganism. What does this yeast do? Yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide. Andre, it multiplies its number. It reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. It produces something called as CO2, that is carbon dioxide. And this gas, that is carbon dioxide is formed here, is accumulated here. Okay, so the bubbles are formed, that is the carbon dioxide gas bubbles get settled here, and there'll be and you can see the dough has risen. Okay, so in this way, your cakes, your bread and all, you can see the sponginess. It will be soft, right? So it will be because of yeast or other bacteria present. So in this way, many other bacteria and also yeast helps in other food items also. One we saw was curd and the other we saw is bread. ಇದೇ ತರ ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್, ಬೇರೆ food items like in pickles, in your idlis and dosa batters and all, these organisms are helpful. Okay, so yeast is used in making breads, cakes, and your pastries, in your bakery items. The sponginess or the raised portion, the soft which you see in your cakes and all, is because of the bacterium called as yeast. Okay, the microorganism called as yeast. Bacteria and yeast also help in fermentation of raised idlis and dosa batter. That is, I told, it also helps in making your other food items like your pickles, and it helps in raising your dosa batter and all. Okay, so next we'll see about the commercial use of these microorganisms. Commercial use andre, some products which you make in large scale and you sell it outside. Okay, so microorganisms are used in the production of alcohol, wine, and acetic acid. So alcohol and wine, so they are made in large scale. They are ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ, because they have to be sold outside. So how do you make this alcohol and wine? So this also is used by yeast. So yeast is used for the production of alcohol and wine. Since it is to be commercially produced and it should be sold in large quantity, like ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, so yeast ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ. So yeast ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ? So yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice, or crushed fruit juices. Okay, they are grown in natural sugars. So it will grow agute in your crushed fruit juices, in your barley, wheat and all, the yeast grows, and from there the yeast is taken and used in the production of alcohol and wine. Okay, so in this way yeast is used. So now let us come to fermentation. So if fermentation andre enu? So it explain ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ one small activity or one small example ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. So what you have to do is, in a beaker, take water. Okay, take some water, add 2 to 3 teaspoons of sugar. So in a ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ add 2 to 3 spoons of your sugar and add the yeast powder. Okay, and keep it for some time. Keep it for about 4 to 5 years. What you observe is, you can smell something like alcoholic smell. Okay, why do you get that alcoholic smell? Andre, the yeast which is present in that solution is converting your sugar. So ನೀವು sugar add ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. So that sugar is getting converted to your alcohol. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ you will get like ಒಂಥರ smell ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. So that smell is nothing but your alcohol smell. Okay. So the conversion of sugar into alcohol is called as fermentation. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So yeast help in the conversion of sugar into alcohol. So that process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is called as fermentation. So this fermentation was first discovered by a scientist called Louis Pasteur. He was the one who first discovered this conversion of sugar into alcohol. So this was about the commercial use. Next we'll see about the medicinal use of microorganisms. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಜ್ವರ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಸಮ್ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ಸ್, ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಸಮ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ microorganisms. The source of those medicine and injection is nothing but the microorganisms. Okay, so our medicines, those medicines stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms. Disease causing microorganisms are harmful to us. So about harmful we'll study later. So about medicines, medicines are helpful for us because they stop the growth of the harmful microorganism, and these medicines are called as antibiotics. So antibiotics andre enu? Medicines that stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms are called as antibiotics. Examples are streptomycin, tetracycline, penicillin. So idella they are made from microorganisms. Okay, so this penicillin, how it was made. So I think there is one small story behind how it was made. So there was a scientist by named Sir Alexander Fleming. He was working on a culture of disease causing bacteria. Okay, this is a culture plate. So he was working on this culture plate, culture of disease causing bacteria. So can you see this small white dot? So these are the bacteria which are disease causing bacteria, which are harmful for us. So he was studying about it. So after some days, in the same plate, what he observed was he saw some light green color mold. Okay, it was green in color. In picture alli white kanistha ide, but it was green in color. Okay, so this green mold was Penicillium colony. Penicillium, we saw it is a fungi. Okay, so this green color colony, the Penicillium, was he observed. So iದೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಬೇರೆ colonies ಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so these white bacteria are called as colonies. So iದೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, it started killing these white color bacteria. It started killing this white color bacteria. So he saw that something is killing the disease causing or the harmful bacteria. So he named this as penicillin, that is the antibiotic. So this penicillin is the antibiotic that is, it is killing the growth of these bacteria. See here you can see these are nothing but the bacteria. So illi light kanistha ide, it means this is killing this bacteria. So in this way the penicillin was discovered. So one more use of this microorganism is it also helps in controlling many plant diseases. So ಈಗ plant ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಆದ್ರೆ, like if it gets some disease, so the antibiotics, okay, the antibiotics are made and they are sprayed on the plant. Okay, in this way the plants are protected from the disease causing microorganisms. So these antibiotics, as I told, they are produced from the bacteria, like bacteria or the fungi. Like the penicillin is produced from the fungi called Penicillium. Okay, in this way, the microorganisms are used in the medicine field. Next, coming to the vaccines. So vaccines andre enu? Iga vaccines are something which you get it when you were born. Like um, when you were small, you were injected with something. So those are nothing but vaccines. Yenike andre you should be protected from the microorganism which enter your body. So what happens is when microorganism enter the body, there the antibodies are produced. So antibodies are produced. These antibodies fight against the microorganism which are harmful to us. So in that way, it protects the body from the disease causing organisms. Okay. In the same way, the vaccine also works. Andre, okay, wait. So in the same way, the vaccine also works. What happens is when you're vaccinated, vaccine is nothing but in the form of an injection or polio drops. See, polio drops, you know, right? When you were small, you were given polio drops. So why were you given polio drops, Andre? So that when you're affected with some disease, with some microorganism which causes harm to your body, this polio drops, it protects your body and it gives you strength, so that the microorganism does not enter your body. So vaccines are those which protect you from the harmful microorganisms. So in that way, the microorganisms are used for the production of vaccines also. Okay. So the first person to discover the smallpox vaccine andre Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner was the first one to discover smallpox vaccine. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಈಗ you would have heard chicken pox. Chicken pox ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ when you get it when you get it at the first time, adike you will give some medicines, right? You will be provided with some injections and all. So once when you're provided with the injection and all, you again won't get that, and then the antibodies are produced. So that chicken pox causing microorganism enter ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ. At that time the antibodies are produced and it fights against the microorganism and it protects the body. So ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ microorganism ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಳಗೆ, your body can fight it. So again you won't get. So that is the reason they tell you again won't get chicken pox. So that means you're vaccinated against that microorganism. Okay. So this was about the medicinal use. Next, we will study about cleaning the environment. First is about increasing soil fertility. So increasing soil fertility, as I told you in the previous chapter also, there are some nutrients in the soil. So there are some nutrients in the soil which are produced, like the microorganism helps in maintaining these nutrients. So there are microorganisms called as biological nitrogen fixers. Example is cyanobacteria. So biological nitrogen fixers ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, they take up the nitrogen from the atmosphere and they fix the nitrogen in the soil. Okay, in that way the soil fertility is increased and the nutrients in the soil are maintained. So the microorganisms or the biological nitrogen fixers, such as blue-green algae, helps in maintaining the soil fertility, helps in maintaining the soil nutrients. So in this way, there'll be, if the nutrients are maintained in the soil, as I told in the previous chapter, there is a healthy growth of a plant. So the microorganisms are helpful in this way. Next is cleaning the environment. So coming to the cleaning environment, you would have studied about manure in your previous chapter. So a small activity is here. Activity andre, there are two pots. Okay, in pot A you have added soil plus plant waste. Plant waste like your leaves and all, and your vegetable peels, your fruit peels and all are added in one pot with the soil. In another pot you have added soil with plastic covers, like your plastic bags, your plastic bottles and all. So one pot only you will add your vegetable wastes, your fruit waste, your plant waste and all. In another pot, you will add plastic covers such as plastic boxes, plastic bottles and all. So after some time, what you see is, so in soil only there'll be microorganisms. So you know that in soil there'll be microorganisms. So in microorganism, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಈ plant waste ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it degrades. Degrading means it breaks down. It degrades. It breaks down into simpler substances. Whereas the microorganism in this pot, which contains the plastic covers, it does not degrade because it is plastic. Plastic cannot be degraded. Okay, so this in this pot, when the soil microorganism degrades the plant waste, it produces something called as manure. I told you in the previous class, manure is the one which is obtained by the degradation of plant and animal waste. Okay, so degradation takes place by microorganism. So this manure can be used up by the plants, right? Why is the manure used? So that the plant grows in a healthy way and the nutrients are replenished. Nutrients are taken back and the nutrients are added to the soil. So the manure is added. So the microorganism decompose dead organic waste of plant and animal, converting them into simple substances. These can be used by the plants. In this way, the harmful or smelly substances degrade and clean the environment. So these are the harmful, right? These are, it stinks a lot. It smells for us. So these plant and vegetable wastes and all, when you added the soil, it makes manure, and this manure can be used up by the plants. So in this way, the microorganism present in the soil helps in cleaning the environment. Okay. So this was about the friendly microorganism or the microorganism which are helpful for us. So what all we studied in friendly microorganism? We studied about how microorganisms help us in making bread, in making pickles, in making curd and all. And we also saw how the microorganisms are commercially useful, like in making alcohol and acetic acid, alcohol and wine. How we saw what is fermentation. We saw a small activity on fermentation, that is the conversion of sugar to alcohol. Then we saw about the medicinal uses, right? We saw about the antibiotics. We saw how the penicillin was discovered. Then we saw about how the vaccines are made, like why vaccines are important, like how these microorganisms protect our body. Then we saw about increasing soil fertility. Andre, the microorganisms such as blue-green algae help in increasing the soil fertility. And also we saw about cleaning the environment, like how the microorganism helps in cleaning the environment. So this was about today's class. If you have any doubts, please comment below. Thank you.